Make great America again. What's up? Make great America again. Kyrie Irving has opted into his deal.
What a hero.
Yeah. Good for you, Kyrie.
Not his first choice, though.
Has he said that publicly, or his agent? I want to make sure.
Well, wasn't it yesterday that he was exploring? I mean, literally, the Kyrie news cycle yesterday was Kyrie was searching for. Remember he had his list of teams.
Yeah.
Then we heard really none of the teams were interested, with maybe the exception of the Lakers. And obviously the Nets never heard anything that they would even remotely want. Like the Nets, I think, were pursuing a sign and trade.
And didn't we hear the Lakers the only ones that even
remotely interested, and then there was nothing that they could probably offer. And so then Kyrie, again, normal people keep the world going, but those who dare to be different lead us into tomorrow. I've made the decision to opt in. See you in the fall. What a hero.
And just for everyone, can you read the before the opt-in part, just read the part where he says, before I've decided to opt in.
Normal people keep the world going, but those who dare to be different lead us into tomorrow.
Congrats, guys. We keep the world going.
I mean, I don't know. I guess I get the quote.
He's leading us into tomorrow by
opting into a $37 million contract.
The majority of people do. Right?
Yeah.
Unless they have a massive extension, which he didn't.
I know. He'll be an unrestricted free agent, I believe, the following year. I think, I don't remember. Do the Nets have his bird rights? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah.
But what a experiment, I would say, of 4 years with those two, with Durant and Kyrie, and probably 2 to 3 of them been the heavy favorite to win it all, and no trips to the finals.
They didn't make it past the first round. They got swept. They didn't win a play. They won as many playoff games as the Kings did
this year. Yeah,
this year. Durant signed for another 4 years. Simmons has signed for another 3. Now, they could have figured out a way to extend. Listen, I know it's all fun and games because Kyrie Irving's a weirdo. Ben Simmons is a weirdo. Kevin Durant gets in his feelings on Twitter, but, is awesome at basketball, as are, Kyrie Irving and half of Ben Simmons is awesome at basketball. That's a hell of a 3-man core, by the way.
Right.
It really that hasn't changed.
Yeah. Seth Curry, Harris.
Joe Harris, yeah. But DeAndre Bembry, they hold on to him. But I just don't know, man. I don't. And what happened yesterday with Kevin Durant? Did something happen that triggered a Kevin Durant could be? I saw a bunch of people posting, "Hey, could the Kings get Kevin Durant? Hey, where is Kevin Durant? Where is a great landing spot for Kevin?" Did something happen yesterday where Kevin Durant was leaving Brooklyn?
Well, I think if the Kyrie domino started, maybe they would. There was talk of that. Now, who knows how legit the talk was? Like, if Brooklyn were to totally reboot because they have no draft picks, that's what you'd have to do is move Durant and get somebody's next 5 draft picks, because Houston's the one that's going to benefit if Brooklyn implodes. Remember, Houston's got all their picks the next 4 or 5 years.
That is true, and that is just such a man. Brooklyn is, this isn't the Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, that whole thing that they had to dig out of. It's not. But it's having about the same results so far. Mm-hmm. I still think the Brooklyn Nets, again, roster constructed basically as it is now, they're obviously going to have to add some people. And by the way, Joe Harris is signed for another 2 years. They're still going to be a top 3, top 4 favorite to win the entire thing next year. That's just how it's going to work. Yeah. In fact, I think they are right now.
Yeah.
But it's just the and isn't the argument that it's better for the NBA as a whole for this to continue, like the Nets drama show? Is it good for the NBA? You're talking about 2.
I guess we're talking about them.
2 first ballot Hall of Famers, and a guy that statistically is on track to be in the conversation. Despite everything with Ben Simmons last year, he's still very young, and statistically with his defense and all that, is still on track to be in the conversation, not necessarily in.
Yeah, Kyrie's just one that's such a unique personality because I don't think there's ill intentions with him, but he can't avoid being out of the attention. Like he's going to say something that's different, abnormal, which that's not entirely bad. But that quote was just bizarre, just his whole philosophy and just really dealing with Kyrie. We talked about it talent-wise. That's at some point you have to get past that because he's always been about talent.
I wonder why we haven't. If we have, I haven't seen it, and I feel like I would have. Kyrie Irving, in his situation, is begging for a respected sports journalist to do one of those long-form deep dives on the other side of Kyrie Irving. You know, like, is there, and I feel like that's going to happen. Like, his activism, the charitable aspects of things. In November, of about 6 years ago, I know he was big on supporting the Standing Rock Indian Reservation against the pipeline there in drinking water. His Kai Family Foundation donates money to a lot of different things. He donated a home in 2020 to the family of George Floyd. He paid off student debt for students at Lincoln University. $1.5 million to help pay WNBA players who opted out of playing during COVID. $300,000 to food banks. 17 pallets of food to that Standing Rock Sioux tribe. The solar water center, he built one July of last year in Pakistan through his foundation. Like, the part of why, oh, and by the way, he's vice president of the Players Association.
Right.
Part of why I tend to hold back a little bit with Kyrie is he unnecessarily dramatic? Yes. Does he have some conspiracy theories that are just goofy as all hell? Yes. He's also, and this isn't an oxymoron here, he's also incredibly intelligent, and he's also very charitable.
Yeah. All those can be true.
They
and
all
those
can
are
be
true.
true. So
Yeah.
it's like I don't even have a like dislike with him or love hate. It's more of a love,
Yeah.
with Kyrie.
Yeah.
I refuse to rip the guy completely, but as an athlete, like, how is this good for your team, dude? How is this good for your team? How is this good for your teammates? How is this good for the fans?
How's it good for you?
How's it good for
Selfishly,
you?
even your own image, right? And I think to me, you want the full commitment. And, okay, he was still relatively young when he was with LeBron in Cleveland. When he decided he kind of wanted to be his own guy. All right, Boston, that's the choice.
Sure.
Talks in front of everybody. I want to retire a Celtic, basically. This is where I want to be. And then, boom, he's gone. And seemingly chooses what reportedly is one of his best friends in Kevin Durant to go to Brooklyn. They've got one of the favorites to win it. And then now there's already let me look what else is up. Like, that's the part to me that's all the other things can be true. Mesmerizing talent, donating to charity, giving his time, all that. And weird quirks, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's the non-committal to a team that's frustrating to me.
You know what Kyrie Irving and Ben Simmons have in common that I did not know till just now, other than being NBA players? They're both born in Australia. Kyrie Irving is Australian. Does that explain it? I don't know.
I don't either.
Are Australians prone to conspiracy theories? I don't know.
I don't either.
But you're also talking about an NBA champion, a 7-time All-Star Game MVP. Second team, twice on the third team, 50-40-90 club in 2021. And he just turned 30 about 3 months ago.
Got to be reliable on the court.
You have to be reliable on the court. I completely agree with that. And speaking of really well-paid athletes, John Wall is moving west. Now, how this makes things even more difficult for our Sacramento Kings. And then coming up after that, Monte McNair, is he entering the final year of his job with the Kings and what he needs to do to keep that job? Oh, by the way, and why the Kings are absolutely, shockingly screwing this whole thing up. We'll explain next.
sure it's a hot one.
Take a shot right now.
Call or text at 916-339-1140. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Jay, get the breaking news sounder, if you would. We have breaking political news. Wait for it.
When it breaks, we have it first. Sacktown Sports 1140. Breaking news.
Why in the heck would I possibly do breaking political news on this program? Stick to sports, Dave. Okay, I'll do that too. This just in. The United States Senate Judiciary Committee. Bipartisan. Dick Durbin, Democrat, Illinois. Chuck Grassley, Republican, Iowa. Have sent a letter to the nonprofit Advocates for Minor Leaguers requesting further information on the antitrust exemption and its interplay with three developments in baseball: the pay structure for minor leaguers, the baseball orchestrated reduction in the number of minor league affiliates, and the state of baseball's international amateur system. The two-page letter, dated today, is signed also by Democrat Richard Blumenthal and Republican Mike Lee. Now, you may know some of these names. You may dislike strongly some of these names, but the fact of the matter is you can't do anything bipartisan these days. Senate committee is looking at the antitrust exemption. It's just a matter of time before it's gone for baseball. It should have been gone a long time ago. Antitrust laws are generally, just so we know what we're talking about here, they're meant to prevent businesses from engaging in anti-competitive practices. Baseball has had an exemption, and they're the only sport to have the exemption since 1922 when the Supreme Court made that decision. Now, and again, please, I'm joking. I'm trying to stay away from the actual politics, but we've seen the Supreme Court do some pretty aggressive things lately, and not just the one you're thinking of, but quite a few. Now, the court, according to the executive director of the Advocates for Minor Leaguers, this is a quote: the Supreme Court has repeatedly acknowledged that that decision was an error and refused to extend the exemption to other professional sports. The court has left it to Congress, however, to fix the mistake. Today, 4 senior United States senators, including 2 from each political party, took a significant step towards doing that. I absolutely love this. Minor leaguers have no union. You effectively, baseball enjoys something that is just completely inappropriate. If it were fully repealed, other legal challenges, like how baseball handles matters like merchandise licensing, the movement of franchises, television blackouts, these are all things that would be on the table. Now, why are guys getting involved? I won't go after every senator's motivations because I don't care. But, for example, Chuck Grassley represents Iowa, where baseball's territorial rights prevent people from watching games of the Brewers, Cardinals, Cubs, Royals, Twins, and White Sox through MLB TV. The only way to legally watch those teams in Iowa would be to subscribe to a distributor or multiple distributors with those teams' respective regional sports networks. So you can't even get MLB TV and watch those games. That's just one. Now, to be clear, normally government and sports should never mix.
Right.
Normally, anything that government puts its hands on gets screwier than it already is. But it's the only way the antitrust exemption goes away is Congress has to get involved to do it, or the Supreme Court or the Supreme Court. And it just, I'm a huge fan. I'm sure you are. And I can't think anyone else out there is like, stick it to the minor leaguers. Screw them. No, dude, minor league.
It'd be the last group you'd want to have that to.
The last group you'd want to do that to. Like, it is so ridiculous. We saw pictures last year, I think, of it was like the food served to A's players and like A-ball. And not to pick on the A's, they're not the only franchise this happens. These minor league teams are run independently. They have working contracts with the major league clubs, and they're treated like garbage. They're paid below minimum wage in many cases. It just, there's a lot of things about baseball that's so corrupt and so hinky. Sam Hinkie.
Hinkie.
Anyways, follow that because I know they've flirted with the idea of getting rid of the exemption before, so this may all be whatever. But again, the fact that you have 4 senior senators 2 Republican, 2 Democrat on board for this thing and getting ready to look at it. That is a significant thing. John Wall has been bought out in Houston. He will apparently sign with the LA Clippers.
That is a deep team. Stacked team.
That is a really deep team, Jason, and that is a team that you're old enough to remember, so am I, that the year that the Spurs sucked and they got the number 1 pick and they got Tim Duncan.
Mm-hmm.
But the Spurs didn't really suck. David Robinson was hurt, and that was really one of the earliest forms. That was like one of the godfathers of modern-day tanking. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or other people say, well, Spurs didn't
Tanking
tank
the right way.
Yeah, exactly. They played the old tankaroni and cheese. The Clippers didn't do that per se, but last year's Clippers 42-40 team.
Right. In
that
the play-in.
Absolute anomaly. Kawhi Leonard didn't play the entire year. Paul George was hurt much of the time. Now they're going to be rolling out a team that, and Reggie Jackson was their starting point guard last year. I know Terrence Mann played minutes there too. But you conceivably, assuming John Wall is still good enough to start, and I assume he is, you're going to roll out a starting lineup as it is right now of John Wall, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Robert Covington, and Ivica Zubac.
That's really nice.
That's really, really nice. That is not a 42-40 team.
Well, and that's the depth behind it. Reggie Jackson, Norman Powell, Morris, Mann, you mentioned, Kennard. I mean, that's a good, deep team that has playoff experience, has what a lot of people consider to be a really good coach in Ty Lue.
Yes.
And certainly the input of getting Kawhi Leonard back. I mean, that's going to be a monumental boost to the Clippers.
I mean, Kawhi Leonard is one of the premier players in the NBA, and he basically has disappeared off the face of the NBA earth. And I get it; it's a knee thing, but we've all kind of forgotten that he's really, really good, and has already won titles with San Antonio, won a title with Toronto. What am I thinking? He didn't win a title with the third team, right? And then he went to the Clippers. Right?
No, he was trying to be, LeBron had done it, but he was trying to do that.
John Wall is interesting because you just kind of don't know what John Wall is anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, John Wall is not 26 years old, but he's also not 36 years old. He is 31. And has had a very good statistical career, and obviously most of that playing for the Wizards. He played 8 years for the Wizards before going to the Rockets. And in 2020, he did not play at all last year, but the last time he played 40 games, and he played. He scored a little over 20 points, 7 assists, a little over 3 boards, a steal. Like those are borderline all-star numbers.
Right.
And he has been an all-star multiple times. Here's the problem, though, with John Wall, amongst others. He didn't play all last year, mostly some of it because of injury. But, well, no, actually, I think he sat out the whole year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that was kind of a team mandate.
Right. Then he played the 1 year for Houston, in which he played only 40 games, and that's the stat I just quoted. Didn't play it all the year before. That was because of injury. He played 32 games the year before that, 41 games the year before that. What's incredibly interesting is in between 2013 and 2016, John Wall played 82, 79, 77, and 78 games. So he was actually for that 4-year stretch, he was a very reliable player.
But the last 4 he's not been.
Not at all.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, he's played, 81, 130. He's played 113 games in the last 4 years out of a possible, 328?
He played like 300 in his first 4 years.
Right.
But if I'm the Clippers, I do it.
Absolutely.
You didn't have to pay the $40 million.
No. We don't have a number as to what he's signing with LA for yet.
Right. But yeah, I just like their depth. I think the Clippers were good last year without Kawhi, but they were great the year before. They were one of the best teams in the league. I think they could be one of the best teams in the league again.
That's the problem, is that last year when you look at the standings, and this is why it's tough. You don't. It's dumb to sit here in the end of June, early July, and say, "Well, this is how it's going to go." But we talked about this before. The Kings finished 4 games out of the play-in. The Clippers finished 12 games ahead of the Kings, and they were in just the 9 spot. They were in the play-in as well. They edged it out by 1, although rather convincingly. They were 8 games ahead of the Spurs. It does appear, especially if DeJounte Murray gets traded, which is thought to be a very strong possibility, it does appear that the San Antonio Spurs may be stepping back and gearing up for the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes, amongst other things, which I also imagine you got to think Greg Popovich is done here pretty soon. He didn't want to go through a rebuild at his age.
Well, it's kind of been happening, whether or not he thinks, they've been, 3 straight years without the playoffs?
Yeah.
Winning in the
Still
30
there.
range. I mean, it's happening in front of him, whether he wants to admit it or not.
By the way, Russell Westbrook, shocking, is planning to exercise his $47.1 million option to return to the Lakers next year. And so let's just take the Spurs off the board here. We already agreed, barring injury or something crazy, the Pelicans, the Timberwolves, the Nuggets, Jazz, Mavericks, Warriors, Grizzlies, Suns are all going to be in some form of playoff or play-in. The Clippers, again,
Should be in.
they absolutely should be in, which means that leaves one spot open, the Spurs. Really comes down to the Kings, Blazers, and Lakers there. I don't know if I like my chances with a Westbrook, Davis, LeBron James revenge tour. If you want to believe they're going to miss the playoffs 2 years in a row, you go ahead. Maybe you're right.
Hey, it's Sacramento versus everybody.
That's what the shirt says, buddy. Speaking of Sacramento, nothing like supporting local business, and it doesn't get more local. It does not get more local than my friends at Amy Outdoor Living, because I went there as a kid. Really, truly did. Go with my dad, go up and down the aisles. They always had the free popcorn. I was super excited. Shockingly, young Carmichael Dave loved him some popcorn. The 4th of July is a time for family, for friends, hanging out at the patio, the pool, enjoying great food. And Amy's Outdoor Living is going to help you with their summer patio sale, saving store-wide through July 4th. Yeah, I get it. You can go online. You can order the stuff off of your Amazons and your Wayfairs. I've done that before. There's something about being able to go and see what you're ordering, to look at it, to imagine what it looks like. How many times you order something online and, oh, wow, that's not what I ordered. That's not what I thought it looked like. And you're getting the same great deals. Umbrellas 35% off. Adirondack chairs 50% off from Pollywood Classic. Reduced prices just for you on outdoor dining sets, seating, and fire pits, all in stock. They'll deliver them all, just like they did with my brand new Traeger. They delivered it, they set it up, they tested it out. Yeehaw, let's go. $150 off the incredible Traeger Ironwood pellet grill. Smoking, searing, cooking Traeger will help you prepare the 4th of July feast to perfection, and they have plenty of other barbecues. Get to Amy's Outdoor Living, El Camino near Watt. It's Amy's Outdoor Living, El Camino near Watt. You tell them your buddy Carmichael Dave sent you. Monty McNair could be entering his final season for the Kings. Why the Kings are predictably screwing this whole thing up, and what he needs to do to keep his job next.
for men.
KHTK AM and HD1 Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
It's Sacktown Sports 1140. It's the Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
Jay, hey, my headset's
Text or call the show at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
On Sacktown Sports 1140.
What's going on with our YouTube?
What do you mean?
Well, it says that, okay.
It crashed earlier, but it's
Glitched
back.
for a second. There we go. Okay. Welcome in, everybody.
Yeah, welcome in.
YouTube. Just search KHTK, or excuse me, what is it? Sacktown Sports 1140. I had to turn around. I'm supposed to put a sheet in front of me. I'm an idiot. I don't know what all the things are. Got a whole new brand out here. As a matter of fact, let me brand you. Twitter at Sacktown 1140. Facebook at Sacktown Sports 1140. Instagram at Sacktown Sports 1140. Same thing for TikTok. And it's sacktownsports.com for the website. So stream us. Look at our content. Look at our content. We're contenting everywhere.
Look up here.
Look up here. Over here. So much content, bro.
Yes.
We are
Contenting
contenting
out.
Yeah. All right, so the Kings have their work cut out for them, and Monty McNair is a lame duck. Whack. He is Quackles.
Yes.
He's a
So we spotted him.
Except Quackles isn't a lame duck. I should take that back.
Yeah,
Quackles
exactly.
is a great
Easy.
duck.
No quackle shame here.
This thing just is so stupid. It just really fires.
It doesn't make
me up.
sense.
It doesn't make
No.
sense. Shocking. I don't know who's. I actually do know who's running things over there, but the Kings already have a difficult time getting free agents.
Right.
Part of the reason they have a difficult time getting free agents is that agents don't want their players to come here. This is seen truly as basketball hell. They just signed a coach to a 4-year deal. Monty McNair's deal expires at the end of this year. And we've talked about this before, but it's worth bringing up again as we enter the free agent world this summer. Players don't like, agents don't like instability. They also like winning teams, but they don't like instability. Kings already have two things against them. They suck on the floor, and it's Sacramento. We talked about this yesterday. Sacramento, one of 4 California teams. We just talked about how the Clippers are the Clippers, and getting John Wall and getting Kawhi Leonard assumedly back, they're going to be much better next year. Much better situation. Oh, by the way, they have an owner. They'll spend $70 billion.
Right.
The Lakers, listen, say what you want about the Lakers. I hate them to death, but they're the Lakers. And you got LeBron and AD, and you're in L.A., and you have endorsements and all that stuff. The Warriors, reigning champions, dynasty, currently running, Steph Curry and friends. Oh, and you're in San Francisco. It's a nice place to be. That area.
Right.
Least. Higher taxes in California. You're losing money playing here as opposed to Texas. That's a knock. So the Kings have to, in order to be a player, they have to be able to take care of every unforced error out there. You have a guy, Monty McNair, who has not done what he was hired to do yet. What he was hired to do is turn around this franchise, pull it out of the Vlade Divac era, and build a roster. Well, you got De'Aaron Fox. He now has a 2-time All-Star at 26 and Domantas Sabonis that he flipped a 12-pick for, and Tyrese Halliburton. He's now added Davion Mitchell to that last year and Keegan Murray. You've got a young core on a similar timeline. Who knows? But one of the things these players are going to be looking at, their agents are going to be talking about coming into the season is, well, hold on a second. We don't know if Monty McNair is going to be there next year.
Yeah.
Why does that matter?
Matters a lot.
Because you just hired a coach that you signed to a 4-year deal.
Exactly.
And here's what happens. Monty McNair goes somewhere next. Let's say Monty McNair is the guy that brings them in. There's no guarantee that the next GM is going to want them here. Oh, by the way, now you're going to have a coach that wasn't hired by your new general manager.
We've heard that before.
Now, the Kings may, in the back of their head, be thinking, well, we're not planning out. Here's our choice. We'll keep and extend Monty, Or if we fire him, well, we'll just give Wes Wilcox a job as the assistant GM, former GM of the Atlanta Hawks. Makes perfect sense to a point. But you just saw Houston pay $40 million to buy out John Wall and send him to. I'm just going to illustrate an example for you. And by the way, Tillman Fertitta is not exactly known as the best owner in the NBA either. This is how bad it is here.
Yeah.
They're willing to pay $40 million to get John Wall off the books and send him, west to the Clippers. Now, I don't know what Monty McNair makes, but I know Vlade Divac's made something around $2 million, and the scuttlebutt is that Monty McNair came in, it's his first opportunity, he's a rookie GM, making significantly less.
Okay.
Now, let's just throw a number out there and say it's half. Let's say he's making $1 million a year, and if it's $2 million or it's $500,000, the point still stands. Let's say it's $1 million.
Yep.
All you got to do is extend the guy 2 years and an option for a third. And you know what? At $1 million, worst case scenario,
Much easier buyout.
you still fire him at the end of the year. Fine.
Yeah.
If he just absolutely craps the bed, and it costs you a grand total of like $3 million. That doesn't count against the salary cap.
It's the same process you were doing with coaches. They've been paying multiple coaches
Yes.
that they felt didn't get the job done. So
that
they
make
move
more
on
than
from
Monty.
considerably more.
Considerably more.
So, I mean, the day they signed Mike Brown or Monty selected Mike Brown, I would have extended Monty. Just to be at least either on a similar timeline or just more security here for him and for this team.
That's it.
And it can be one where you go, oh, we made a mistake.
Yes.
And it's a cheaper one. But I don't know that they're going to even go down that route. I think right now more people seem to be pleased with the job that Monty's done. And I think, for his job, which is to get this team to the playoffs, yes, factually he has not been able to do that in his first 2 years. But he joins the list of other GMs, other coaches, I would say smart people. I know it's easy to pick on the Kings and say, oh, well, they're just nobody's been able to figure it out. They're all foolish. They all don't know what they're doing. Well, it's obviously been a difficult task.
Yes.
And it's been 16 years, and there's a long list of people that haven't been able to turn it around.
We'll make that today's poll question quite simple. Do you approve or disapprove of the job Monty McNair has done thus far with the Kings? Every time we put this poll out, it's been quite in favor of approve. Now, nobody's saying, listen, they're not in the playoffs yet.
Right.
He hasn't done his job yet, but Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
And the question becomes...
we all want it today.
Right. And is he going in the right direction?
What would be, to you, objectively, the biggest criticisms? That they haven't made it?
No, it's not that they haven't made it. I think the biggest criticism for me would be there have been some things, whether it's the original Dante DiVincenzo deal that got lost, Bogdan Bogdanovic for nothing. The idea that maybe they could have, was Davion Mitchell going to be available a couple picks later? Was Keegan Murray going to be available a pick back? And I know some of these are already narratives, and maybe none of these things were possible. But I'd say if you put all that together, also holding on to Luke Walton an extra year, I think that was obviously in retrospect a mistake, but something a lot of people called out as a mistake at the time. He has not been perfect. He has made mistakes. There have been errors. That does happen. But I think that he has provided stability to the front office. He's calmed everything down. There are no leaks out of the front office. And I think his roster moves and his draft, especially compared to Pete D'Alessandro and Vlade Divac, have been, compared to those two, they've been phenomenal. They've been Hall of Fame. But you also had a very low bar. I'm not saying Monty McNair is the best GM in the league. I don't know. But I know he's not terrible thus far, and I know that his picks have shown absolute promise. He's earned that right. But it's not about, is Monty McNair, you have to decide right now, is Monty McNair going to be your GM for the next 3 years? It's simply, you're sending a message to the league of stability. You're sending a message to your players and your coaching staff and your front office of stability. It appears that Monty has already consolidated power with Joe Dumars leaving and making the picks that he wants to make and all this stuff. We haven't heard much out of Vivek other than media. Vivek likes this guy. Vivek, well, we don't even know if those are true.
Right.
What we do know is Vivek hasn't overtly exercises ownership powers to full-on interfere. These are all things we take for granted, but are actually really good things in the realm of the Sacramento Kings. But, again, it's unforced errors. You have this reputation of instability, and you have an opportunity not to defeat that reputation overnight, but an opportunity to send continual strong messages to players that would be moving their families, their careers, taking advice from agents, many of which have been screwed over by this team or had bad dealings with this team in the past. The Bagley thing doesn't help.
Right.
The reports that Dante DiVincenzo's camp might have been a little upset last year, that doesn't help. It's just on and on and on, not to mention coaches. And for Monty McNair, Monty will be fine. This isn't about Monty. This is about me feeling bad about Monty, because here's the honest to God truth. If nothing terrible, as long as Dante doesn't trade De'Aaron Fox for a sack of potatoes, do something really stupid, say Monty gets fired at the end of the year. It's simply going to be, well, it's another talented person used and thrown aside by this failure of a team. And somebody listening right now might say, well, that's easy for you to say, Dave, it's not your money. Well, here's a point people need to start wrapping their heads around. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because this team was bought for $565 million and is now worth north of $2.5 billion. And a lot of that was off of the partnership between the city and the team. Everybody's winning here. The city is won by keeping the team. The ownership is won by seeing their investment triple. The only entity that is not won here is the fans, who are the ones paying the parking, right, paying the season tickets, paying for the concessions, paying for all this stuff, watching the games and listening on KHTK and buying stuff from the sponsors. The fans are giving, but their end of the contract isn't being filled. So yeah, it is their money. And when your team goes from $500 million to $2.5 billion, you damn right you can spend an extra $2 or $3 million to send a message that your front office is stable. It just absolutely boggles my mind, and the stuff that really drives me crazy is when this franchise makes unforced errors time and time and time and time again.
It's hard enough, and they're making it harder.
So now on the floor, what is missing, Jason? What's the missing piece or pieces on this Kings roster? How do they fill it? And what weapons do they have to be able to fill that? We'll do that right after this. Don't go away 1 minute.
If you the 94th most popular celebrity from Carmichael
How popular do you want to be?
meets a Celtics broadcasting legend.
Celtics are going to go for the win. Everybody here at Golden One Center on their feet.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sacktown Sports 1140.
The incredibly frustrating, mostly untalented, but very, very rarely comes through in the clutch, Tim Maxwell over at the Kings Herald has a excellent article. Baby Giraffe. Really, honestly, probably the most polarizing Kings media member in the
Yeah, how
entire
come he's
city.
not in there?
I don't know. People really don't like him. But he did write a free agency primer that is excellent. Breaks down the following. Total guaranteed salaries as of this moment for the Kings around $103 million. I won't bore you with mathematics, but that's well shy of the $122 million cap set earlier this year. There are non-guaranteed salaries. Trey Lyles, Chimezie Metu. But you got to think, I have a hard time believing Mike Brown's going to let Chimezie Metu go, especially with their relationship they have pre-existing. That pushes the Kings to around $108 million. and there are significant cap holds on the book. Unsigned first-round picks account for 120% of their standard rookie scale salary. Keegan Murray at $8 million. That pushes the Kings to 116. Now you have pending free agents: Dante DiVincenzo, Damian Jones, Neemias Queta, all interesting candidates to re-sign. Dante DiVincenzo, if they want to re-sign him, have to keep his cap hold on the books, which is $14 million. Wow. That's very legit, as opposed to 1.8 for Damian Jones and 1.6 for Queta.
Sure.
If they wanted to clear everything, Metu, Lyles, renounce every free agent, stretch Harkless, you're still going to have $3 million cap holds. That puts you at $111 million. That's not a lot of money. The bottom line is this: for them, unless they make some very, very, very interesting moves, they don't have a lot of money.
Yeah, they're not going to be this primetime free agency player. They could get some fringe players that could still help. That's just where you got to be smart and see if you can lure somebody.
Well, let's look at what their potential starting lineup is. With Fox at the 1, you're going to have Barnes, it would assume, at the 3.
Correct.
Me. Murray,
I would think.
We can pencil him in, even though he's a rookie, at the 4. Sabonis at the 5. That seems to be 4/5 of your starting lineup. Jason, are any of those players a go-to guy on a playoff team?
On a playoff team, well, Sabonis has been.
Yeah, okay. Was he? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
I mean, he was an all-star on a playoff team.
Yes. No, I'd agree with that. That leaves you with the 2. Okay, now that gets interesting because is that where you put a presumably healthy Dante DiVincenzo, and now you have yourself a little bit of defensive help to go with?
Yeah.
He and Keegan Murray become the 2 best defensive starters on the team.
Well, and you have to remember, too, in Milwaukee's championship year, Dante DiVincenzo, for the bulk of the year, was the starting 2 guard.
Right.
On the championship team. Now, he got hurt in the playoffs, but he was their starter.
Going to the Sacramento Kings. Is this a misprint here? Hold on. I'm going to the Sacramento. You go to the Sacramento Kings depth chart on ESPN.com. Domantas Sabonis with Damian Jones, Alex Len, Trey Lyles, and Chimezie Metu, all at your depth chart for center. That is the complete ESPN.com depth chart for the Kings.
Oh, they've no other positions.
No other positions.
Playing all centers. Okay.
They had a grand total of 5 players. Terrence Davis.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Damian Jones, I'd like to see. I saw some things out of Damian Jones that I thought were pretty cool. We're missing. We're not speaking of Rashawn Holmes,
right? Which to me seems like one of the likely trade candidates.
I would think so.
That would be coveted, and I think you could get a nice return for.
I mean, do you even? Wouldn't you rather trade Rashawn for whatever you can get and re-sign Damian Jones as Sabonis' backup, or is there a thought that you know what? Why not have Holmes as Sabonis' backup?
Well, if you the funny part about the career arc of Rashawn Holmes is he was kind of that ideal backup. He came here, was the last signing on the Dwayne Dedmon summer. And it was like, well, Dedmon's going to be the starter. And then it didn't take very long to realize Holmes should be in there, and Holmes started playing more. Then he got the starting job. And then he basically earned his next contract based on a couple of really good years here. So I think it's got to be hard for Rashawn going from kind of that backup to a pretty significant starter here on this team to now, the guy that's ahead of him, he's better. Sabonis is just a better all-around player, and Rashawn is still good. I think he would like to, though, be a starter, and I that's not here. It's just not here.
I wonder. The problem, I agree, by the way, that Rashawn Holmes is very tradable. He's absolutely, just because of the Sabonis trade. We love Rashawn. I'm also aware that you'd be trading Rashawn Holmes at like his absolute lowest value. Really low value. And he had last year, it wasn't just, I'm Rashawn Holmes and I'm just having a tough year. No, like he had a rough year on and off the court. Like he had horrible things going on with his ex, with his child, all of that. He got poked in the eye, I think, 74 times last year. Was wearing goggles. Like he had a really rough year personally and professionally. There is part of me that's like, First off, he's a great, knock on wood, he's a great piece of injury insurance should something happen to Domas.
Yeah.
But also, like, why not? Can you still fit? I don't think Sabonis and Holmes can be on the floor at the same time. But if Sabonis is playing, 35 minutes a game, well, that's, okay, that's 7 minutes for, no, 35, 13. That's 13 minutes. I don't know what you can do with that. But it's a pretty nice guy to go to.
Mm-hmm.
I just hate that they'd be selling really low, but I think, honestly, if you can find somebody that's willing to give you something you can use and you can re-sign Damian Jones, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Do you feel comfortable putting DiVincenzo? Would you feel comfortable rolling out that starting lineup with DiVincenzo at the 2 and let's go?
It might be out of necessity, whether it's him or Davion. It just feels like a little bit smaller of a backcourt. I think either way. It does feel a little bit empty there. It feels like there needs to be something else there.
Yeah.
Just even across the board, a 2-3 hybrid, more wing depth, more wing versatility, more guys that are out on the wing that you just go look long, athletic. I think that's what this team is in need of. You good with DiVincenzo as you're starting to? I mean, it was for the Bucks. That's why I keep pointing out. I don't think he's the same player he wasn't last year coming off injury, but I think he can get back there.
I agree. I just, again, and I don't want to be downer guy that I always am, but I guess what I'm struggling with too is, weird things happen every year. I get it. You got a new coach too. Let's not discount that. But I look at that starting lineup and I go, you know what? I think this team is going to be a little bit better than they were last year. Remember, Fox had a horrible start. It was very apparent that he and Tyrese Halliburton weren't comfortable playing together. Fox's numbers took off after that. They took off after that, but it's not like the Kings had this great record.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like they had this great second half record, even with Fox going off. I look at the other teams like that we've talked about. The Clippers a lot today. Plus, we've talked about the Pelicans. And I just don't know. This isn't enough. And I'm not talking about this isn't enough to be a championship team. But it just seems like next year, as it stands right now, is shaping up to be a team that you're going to roll out. They'll be better. They'll lose more than they win, but it'll be better. And you go to the games and you pay the team, and that's it. There has to be another major move on this team.
Yeah, I think without that, I think the roadmap for the Kings to me is, okay, how much better can Mike Brown make the defense, which obviously has to be a major increase. And without a roster transfer overhaul, makes you wonder how, but he's done a good job with the Warriors and some players that you probably question defensively. And then I think really the honest truth is the whole thing is contingent on Fox and Sabonis. Yeah. Those are your two best players. If they play a bulk of the games and have big seasons, they will be better. But what's that tangible number? Is that enough to do what, let's say, Edwards and Towns did for Minnesota, along with others, to get them to well above 500 and be in the playoffs? Seems like a stretch, but at one point it probably seemed like a stretch for Minnesota too.
Sacramento Kings were 20-36 going into that Minnesota game when Domantas Sabonis made his debut and De'Aaron Fox absolutely took off. They were 10-16 with Fox and Sabonis. They finished the year 30-52.
And the 10-16, I think it's also only 9 games together, if I remember right. I mean, or 14, something like that.
Yeah, but maybe Keegan Murray comes in and he's rookie of the year.
That'd be great.
That'd be great. I mean, there are definitely rooms for improvement. All right. Interleague starts for the Giants. Is it pointless with all the new rules? We got other stuff to get to as well. We'll recap a lot of the things we've talked about today, things coming up in the sports world as well. We'll get to that next.
You want
The only local sports show in the morning.
On Sacktown Sports 1140.
Today's Twitter poll. Do you approve of the job Monty McNair has done thus far?
How many votes?
This one's going to be fun because fans are passionate about this. We just put this thing up 20 minutes ago. We're already at almost 500 votes. And I hope they're listening over there at the old Golden One Center. Not that fans should dictate what the team does, although over the last 16 years, if you just didn't have a GM and did everything by Twitter poll, we'd probably be in a better position. Well, I know at least in one draft we would.
Okay. Yeah, good point.
71% approve of the job Monty McNair is doing.
Okay.
29% disapprove. Now, to be fair, as they like to say on social media.
Social media?
No. To be fair, TBF, this was a binary poll. You either have to approve or disapprove. I would imagine quite a few of those 71% are like, well, it's better than Vlade. Or it's not like, I can't say, it's more good than bad, but like it's okay. I need more. Like I get that 71% are like, Monty McNair's the best. I get it. And probably a couple of those 29% disapprovals are also towards the middle. I would say of the 100%, I'd say probably a good 30% total are kind of in the middle. Mm-hmm. If I had to put a average option, but I wanted this to be binary. Extend the man. Extend the contract. I'm not because I have any, special love for Monty, although I do think he's doing a pretty good job. Mm-hmm. Like I said, doesn't matter. You fire him at the end of the year, it's just going to make you look stupid, and he's going to go on, and he'll have no problems finding a job.
All right. Well, then you're just doing this, finding a new one, and then likely, quite probable, a new coach. Yes. And you're just like, you got to stop this cycle.
Well, again, the thing that I've got in the back of my head, too, is not necessarily. Your point is well taken, but this just sniffs of a conversation that's already been had that if for some reason they move on from Monty McNair at the end of the year, they just slide Wes Wilcox up, who he actually has a far deeper relationship with Mike Brown.
Yeah.
So they'll defeat that narrative of GM before, coach before GM, et cetera, by saying, well, hold on a second. No, Wes was there. He's part of the hiring process. He wanted Mike Brown as much as anyone. This is as much Wes is. And by the way, it's nothing against Wes Wilcox either. It's simply about stability. So hopefully that's something we see soon. And by the way, if that happens, if the Kings were to, let's be fair, if the Kings were to announce an extension, I'll have the exact same passion and applaud them and really make it well known that's a great sign. Some of the comments before we get over to the Giants and interleague play. And, oh, by the way, we've got Sublime tickets to give away.
Oh, that's Sublime.
A special. Why did that get me?
It didn't really. That was courtesy.
It made me pause.
It did.
That's Sublime. We're going to have a special trivia for the first pair.
Okay.
Yeah, got to do that.
That's happening?
No, it's 100% happening. At least one of them.
All right.
Some comments on this real quick. I'd have to approve. Vlade left a nasty mess. Can't expect Monty to clean it up in 2 years. Trey says, I mean, it hasn't been as bad as Vlade, but it's not like it's been good either. Neil says, I approve overall, but thought Monty failed to maximize on the draft. One of the comments that's probably unfair is one guy was saying, well, I'm not really there yet. I get the argument. Monty has signed 0 free agents that'll be projected on the roster this year as of now. He hasn't drafted any starters until Keegan. I'm not counting Sabonis. What? Well, hold on. Tyrese is starting too.
Yeah.
Wait. You can't move the. No. I mean, I understand the other stuff the guy's saying, but you can't. What do you mean you're not counting Sabonis? He got traded straight up for the 12 pick in Halliburton. So, Darkness23 on the YouTube chat says, hard disapproves. Team still sucks. Make a trade for an all-star. Made a trade for an all-star that was mocked league-wide. Why do you care if it was mocked league-wide? Who cares what the league says? You got an all-star. He's 26 years old.
Yeah, the critics and the quick reactions aren't always right. Sometimes they are. But they're not always
Sometimes
right.
they are. They're not always right. In fact, they're wrong more than they're right, though.
I would agree
We've
with that.
illustrated that in the past. All right, the Giants are getting ready for 5 interleague games. Why do we still have interleague with the DH now, universal?
I think the main reason is to get different teams in town. So you're not always seeing, oh, here come the Dodgers, here come the Padres, here come the Reds, here come the, get a chance to have the Blue Jays, the Tiger, just different teams.
Do you enjoy Little League? Do you enjoy interleague play?
I have no issue with it.
I actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
I do. I like it. I like seeing the Yankees come in every once in a while.
Right.
I like seeing the Tigers or it just mixes it up. It gives it a new look a little bit.
Especially we're unique at this moment that the A's are here. We have both leagues. Not a lot of markets have that.
That's true.
So if you're in that one team, oh man, I always see the same teams. It's nice. I'll never get to see, if I'm a National League team, I'll just never get to see Shohei Ohtani. Well, now here they come. Or I'm a National League team. I want to see the Yankees come through. Here they come.
Right.
So I think it's great.
Well, they
play so many games anyway.
That's the thing. You got to mix it up. You can't, you can't just do firework night every night. Although that would help.
Yeah.
And they've got Detroit coming in, and they stink. But the Reds stunk worse,
Right.
and
Beat
they
'em 2 or 3.
Yeah. And then you have the White Sox coming in, who are under 500. Then you go to Arizona for 3. Arizona's way under 500, 33-41. And you got San Diego, and then Arizona, and then Milwaukee, and then that pretty much wraps up. That does wrap up your first half. So this is a stretch where they should be getting a little bit healthy, but unfortunately, they're doing things, as you said, like losing 2 or 3 to Cincinnati. They lost 2 of 3 to Atlanta, but my goodness, was that about as close a series as that could have been a giant sweep. That could have been a Brave sweep. I mean, that thing was absolutely very, very close. Now,
but they need something else too.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, talking about needing something, like they need a jolt somewhere.
And I think that's a conversation that Farhan Zaidi, Farhan Zaidi is Mr. Bargain Bin. Farhan Zaidi, actually, if Billy Beane were to ever leave, would be a wonderful candidate to run the A's the way they are right now. He's that type that seems to get the most out of the least, but in this case, he's not working for the A's. He's working for the San Francisco Giants.
Right.
And the Giants aren't exactly, on the fringes of poor teams in Major League Baseball. They're the exact opposite. They've got plenty of money, and not that the Giants aren't spending it. Not that they're, they're not Tampa Bay and Oakland and whatever. As a matter of fact, they're 13th in the league in overall payroll. But that also tells you that there should be on a team that's got $154 million payroll. So let's not, listen, I want to be very clear. Although I'm a Giants fan, I'm not crying for them, especially since their payroll is $106 million more than the A's. But if you're in that position, spend the money. And he's going to have that conversation at some point, because this team, as they are prone to do, I understand that they've kind of been on the schneid a little bit lately, especially, their last 8 games. But they're 39-33. They're right in the thick of everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's a team that sits back and goes, okay, trade deadline, this, that, whatever. We got to grab it back.
Last year they did that with Chris Bryant, which was great.
Yeah.
But then not re-signing him. They had every opportunity to do that. I think they'll be aggressive. I think they'll show the need to be aggressive. And last year it was maybe more of a, hey, we need to keep our spot here. We got the Dodgers on our heels. We've had a great season. Let's keep it going. We could win the World Series. I mean, they were that good last year as far as record-wise. This year they don't have the same kind of record. They still have a lot of the same framework, but it just feels like, I don't know, attention to detail in some of the things when you watch the Giants. Just little things, maybe some of the dramatics that they had a year ago, the big late night hits. Lamont Webb, who hasn't been really with the team, seemed like he had all these big hits last year. It just seemed like whoever they plugged and played would always come up with a big play. It was someone like a spot start for a rotational player, and then that was the guy that had 3 hits and drove in 4. It seemed like they pulled all the right strings last year.
Who is it? Big Rod says he thinks the Giants are going to the World Series.
I know. I asked him why. I mean,
listen, I'd love for him to be right. Logan Webb and Carlos Rodon are a great 1-2 punch.
It's nice,
but God, they just seem incredibly thin.
Mm-hmm.
You got to add a couple of things. ESPN just put out their free agency guide for each and every team. It's a good thing to look at. Outlines of the expirings and Barnes, Holiday, Harkless, and Len. They combine to make $35 million this year. They've got Dante DiVincenzo. They've got a possible extension with Domantas Sabonis, by the way, which I think would be a very, very well-received move at this point, and that'll defeat a lot of Kings fans' thoughts and worries that we traded Halliburton for 2+ years of Sabonis. But, yeah, it kind of lays out a lot of the needs, including free agents Trey Lyles, as we mentioned earlier, Josh Jackson, Jeremy Lamb, Damian Jones, and Nimi Keita. Wasn't Nimi Keita a second-round pick last year? Last year, right? All right, jeez. That was
Time goes fast.
1-800-920-1140 if you want to go see Sublime featuring Rome. 1-800-920-1140. I got a quick trivia question for you. We'll do it live. Sublime featuring Rome, and Jay will have the read on that when we get back. Plus, what's hot, what's not, who's not, and the news right after this.
what's hot
Yeah, hot. Real hot.
and what's not.
It's not good.
Brought to you by American Energy Air and Solar, Sacramento's complete heating and cooling company and second opinion partner.
Novak Djokovic. He's hot.
He's hot.
I don't mean physically.
Well, he is. Good-looking guy.
Anyways, he recorded his 80th career win at Wimbledon. He's the first player, male or female, in tennis history to win 80-plus matches at all 4 major tournaments. Yes, Dave.
You said what? He recorded his 80th
80th.
win at Wimbledon?
Correct.
Now, here's what's interesting about that, and you're not really, and this isn't your fault, but you're not really underlining it. I think you should. Not only did he get a win at Wimbledon, but imagine having to do it while holding what? A camcorder, a phone, while you're playing to actually record that win. That's a pretty crazy feat for him to do. It's one thing to play tennis. It's another thing to basically play tennis one-handed. Because he recorded his win.
Who's not? Sean Murphy. He interfered with Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton in the 7th inning last night.
That's cheating.
Murphy is the first catcher to have 2 interference calls in the same inning since Baltimore's Pedro Severino.
Pedro.
On July 29, 2020 against the Yankees. On Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton.
Let them swing the bat.
Not 1, but 2 catcher interferences.
On the same players.
In the same inning.
It's weird.
That is so weird. I didn't see it. Was it like the bat hit the glove or something?
Yeah, twice. And the second one, no one caught it. The Yankees actually called for the review. And it was clear that Stanton hit the glove. Run scored.
True or false? Kind of cheap by the Yankees.
False. Next question.
True or false? That is not a action becoming a supposedly legendary franchise.
Oh, I got it. False.
False?
Next question.
All right, we've got Sublime versus
Sublime.
versus
Versus Rome.
Sublime featuring Rome.
No, let's go with versus Rome. That sounds better.
We got Sublime featuring Rome. What is? I don't have the details on this.
Yeah, so Sublime will be at Thunder Valley. Jim Rome is opening for them.
Okay, so if Jim Rome is opening for Sublime, caller, who's this? Is this Jay?
It is.
Hey, buddy, how are you?
Another day in paradise.
That's right, buddy.
He's a Kings fan, I can tell.
These are my people right here. Jay, we've got Sublime and Rome tickets for you. Obviously, Rome's opening, so we thought we'd make this a Rome-centric trivia question. Jay, who was the football player that famously had an altercation with Jim Rome on ESPN2? A long time ago.
Like
That I don't know. I don't.
Okay, well, Jay, I love you, but... All right, caller, who's this? 1-800-920-1140 if you want to get in on Rome trivia. By the way, I did not know Rome was touring with... Good for him.
That's Sublime.
That's awesome.
This is Alex.
Well, how are you, buddy?
Good. How are you?
Good. Why am I calling everybody buddy today? What
Hey,
am I,
buddy.
Terrence and Phillip? Hey, buddy. You're not my friend, buddy. What football player, quarterback, did Jim Rome famously have an altercation with on his old ESPN2 show way, way, way back?
Tony Romo.
Tony Romo is absolutely wrong.
Almost.
Bet you won't call me that again.
Who's this?
This is Jay.
Oh, Jay's back.
Is this a different Jay or the same Jay?
A different Jay.
Oh, hey, different Jay.
Hey,
How
different
are you?
Jay. Hey,
Good to
buddy.
be- You know what? Hey, different. It's different people that lead us into the new world or
Yes,
whatever Kyrie
exactly.
said. Who is the quarterback formerly for the Rams, sharing a same last name with, or sort of same last name with a former female tennis star?
Wow, you're just giving it all
that was married to Greg Norman at one point, and rhymes with Schmim Schmeverett. Who was the quarterback Jim Rome once had an altercation with?
Jim, a.k.a. Chris Everett.
Okay,
Oh.
see, even without the hints, he would have gotten it.
Yes.
Congratulations. You have won Rome trivia. Rome opening for Sublime. Thunder Valley, you got a pair, and we'll put you on hold. Wow, look at everybody else.
Wow.
They're here for Rome trivia.
Well, we have 5 pair.
I might be able to do top of the head Rome trivia.
Oh, okay.
Caller, who's this? Caller, nope.
This is Mike.
Hey, what's up? It's Ryan. How you guys doing?
Good,
It's
Ryan.
Ryan,
How
not
are
Ryan.
you, buddy?
Doing well. There's two answers here.
Uh-huh.
It is what is Jim or Chris Everett.
That is correct. That is
He
correct.
wins. Put him on hold.
Hold on. No, that's not fair because the previous guy said that. So I will ask you this. In that altercation,
Who won?
did Jim Rome or did not Jim Rome? Wait, what?
Uh-huh.
Did Jim Rome have facial hair? Yes or no?
He did not.
That is absolutely
Oh,
correct. You
Ryan.
have won Rome and Sublime tickets. I'll put you back on hold as we continue Rome trivia as Rome is opening for Sublime. Caller, who's this?
This is James.
James. Wow, we got JJ and James. Where are you calling from?
I'm at the light at Sunset and Hazel.
That's very specific.
Is it crowded? How's traffic?
Yeah, I was a lot. Let me guess. There's construction somewhere nearby.
Oh, man, it's been death for 3 years on this road.
Almost done.
All right. Rome is opening for Sublime, so we're doing Rome trivia today. And I have a Rome question for you. Are you ready?
Chris Everett.
Moving past, I've got a brand new Rome question. The top of my head, Rome trivia. Ready?
Yes, go.
What country is the city of Rome located in?
Gee, man, it's a tough one. Italy.
Italy is absolutely correct. That wasn't tough at all. Congratulations.
I would have went with France.
The entire city of Rome is opening for Sublime at Thunder Valley.
I thought Jim Rome was opening. Now I'm confused.
Well, it's both.
So Jim Rome's opening from Rome.
Uh-huh.
Makes total sense.
Rome, if you want to.
That is
Your
B-52s.
Yes, your least favorite group.
Boy.
All right. Caller, who's this? Hello, caller. Who's this? If you're on hold, say hi, because I'm probably talking to you.
He hung up.
He hung up. I
She
didn't know.
hung up.
Way to assume. Hi, caller. Who's this?
Kevin.
Kevin, where are you calling from?
Calling from Roseville.
Why do I ask that? Do people care?
I don't know.
No.
Well, we got a stoplight reference. That was pretty cool.
I'm just buying.
going to say Sacramento, but
That's fine. Rome opening for.
You have more Rome?
I do.
Okay.
I have more Rome trivia questions.
You would.
Rome versus Sublime. This time it's for real. Thunder Valley. True or false? Jim Rome's highly successful. What were they called? Road
Clones.
No, the road trips.
Tour stops.
Tour
Tour
stops.
stops. Did or did not stop in Sacramento throughout the years?
false.
So it did not. You're saying false. He has never had a tour stop in Sacramento?
Yes, that's what he's saying.
That's what I'm saying, yes.
That is absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
I was there. You
I
were
was
there.
too.
It's absolutely right.
It was epic.
It was fin. Yeah, it was epic. I don't know. Hey there, caller. Who's this? We're in the middle of Rome trivia. Who's this? Hello, I hear you there. Say hi. Even if you don't
Still
think.
James.
Oh, it's still James?
Yeah,
I
you
thought
picked up the wrong
Oh, well,
line.
I'm
was the
sorry.
winner.
I don't know anything.
You just picked up the wrong line again. Oh my God.
Give me the line then. Hi, who's this?
This is Brian. How are you?
Hey, Brian. I'm
Hey,
great.
Brian.
How are you?
Good, man. Good. Hey, I want to get in on some of that trivia.
All right, Rome trivia.
Rome trivia. Here we go.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it.
Name
Hello?
one of.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. No, I just went right through.
Yeah,
What's
you
up,
did.
Dave? How you doing, bro?
Hey, he's here.
Hey. All right. Rome opening for Sublime, Thunder Valley. So we're doing Jim Rome trivia here. One of Jim Rome's ex-producers is now a very popular sports television star. What is his name?
Oh man, I did Alvin DeLauro right now,
Oh.
but
Okay, well, you know
what?
what? Since you obviously have Rome knowledge,
That's pretty good.
I'll say
I
this.
do. I have quite a bit of Rome knowledge, but they're not
okay.
as all easy as
No,
Chris Everett, right?
That's
Right.
okay. I understand. I'm gonna give you a chance here. I want you to win.
Yeah, that was good. Alan DeLauro.
The person I'm talking about shares a first name with my previous partner prior to Jay on this very show, who is now working in the Bay Area. I know there's like 70 of those partners, but
Yes.
yes.
Is it Cozumore?
No. No.
Or no? But I mean, no. Is that the previous guy or?
No.
Yeah, the previous guy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I wanted him to win.
Alvin DeLauro was a good pull.
Alvin DeLauro was. I should have just given it to him for that. Should I go with one more? Or should I move on to the news, Jay?
We don't have time for the news.
We don't.
No.
Man, I had news stories.
You could have just let me line up callers 1 through 5 and gotten to the news, but no, we got to do Rome trivia.
Why'd your voice get like that? Like, you sound like you had something in the throat.
It's my program director voice.
How much time do we? How much time do we actually?
Yeah, about 2 minutes, maybe.
2 minutes. That's enough time for the news sounder and 2 quick news stories. Can we do that? He doesn't even want to play the sounder. You work so hard on it. Keep on the line. The remainder of you just going to pick.
Hey, you want easier access to the content you care about? You now have it. SacktownSports.com.
Shut up, SacktownSports.com. Now, see, you screwed up my whole thing. No sounder for you today.
Fine. Happy birthday.
Celebrate.
To Mel Brooks.
Okay.
96 years
Wow.
old.
He's that old?
History of the World Part 1.
Loved him in Lethal Weapons.
Do you remember all the...
Really?
Do you remember all the skits they previewed in the preview for History of the World Part 2?
No.
Okay. I'll tell you after the show. One of them is making me laugh. It involved ice skating. Mel's career spanned 70 years, and he has made some of the funniest movies in the history of movies. Blazing Saddles, The Producers, Young Frankenstein. They don't even list History of the World Part 1. That was one of my favorite movies as a kid. Colorado, the Avalanche, have won the Stanley Cup. And it looks like Coors Light is doing something I've never seen before. And actually, I'm here for this. Though not a drinker, I like the idea. They're making limited edition cans of beer. Of course, Coors from Golden, Colorado.
Right.
With shavings of the home ice from the Avalanche. So they're scraping the ice off and then dropping some of it in the beer.
How'd a tooth get in there?
Hops and blood. All right. I hope all of you had fun and excitement today. J&J tomorrow. And we'll be combing everything, looking for awesome stories to bring you. In addition to opening for Sublime, Jim Rome will do a radio show next. Enjoy the rest of your day on Sports 1140. Excuse me, Sacktown Sports 1140. Bye. Bye.